Hey, we back, man. We back. Another good week. We're here for week 6 of the NFL season. Definitely a whole lot of good stuff going on. Thank you guys for tuning back in. It's your boy G alongside Alec for another episode of 6300. Appreciate all the love. Like, rate, review, subscribe, all of that for us. Follow us online at section.300. Follow us online on IG and TikTok at section.300. Follow us on Twitter at section300 sports and all that good stuff. And there's a whole lot of good stuff on the way. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, and let's get this thing rolling. All right, man. So we are back. Hopefully, by the time you guys see this, the Dodgers will be up 2-0 on the Padres. Dealing to handle business. Had a great start yesterday, and enjoying to watch that. And hopefully that continues as the playoffs go on. But yeah, we're here for the NFL Week 6 as we have been doing all season long. Definitely enjoyed what we've been seeing in last week. Week 5 definitely was a fun one. On a personal note between me and Alec, we had a fantasy matchup this last week, and my team fought hard. I'm gonna salute my boys because we're a struggling team. We put up good numbers, but Alec's squad just went crazy and stole the belt there. So it was what it was. We both still kind of at the bottom. He's 2-3 in the league. I'm winning 4, so still got a long way to climb. But it definitely was a good matchup that showed that we still have some life left in us, hopefully, and excited to see how that goes forward. But definitely some good stuff with that. To the actual product on the field, there were a lot of good games across the board. Sticking with our LA teams, the one game that might actually not have been good was that Rams-Cowboys game. Rams-Cowboys was a surprising beatdown for some. Cowboys came out early and made their presence felt and really showed out. What did you take away from the Rams struggling against the Cowboys last Sunday?
Yeah, that one really wasn't too surprising for me. I think I picked the Cowboys to win that one, mainly because that offensive line for the Rams has been terrible. Right. And the pass rush for the Cowboys has been elite. So not a good combination for the Rams and Matthew Stafford. And to this point, he's just been like spamming Cooper Kupp and then occasionally targeting like Higbee or Skoranek. Allen Robinson seems to
our fantasy point. I saw you dropped Allen this last week. So
absolutely. I'm going to get to him later too, for sure.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I wasn't too surprised by it, even with Cooper Rush being the quarterback. He didn't do a whole lot, but they didn't really need him to do a whole lot because the defense kind of carried it and they were able to grind in the ground game. So, yeah, this Rams team, as mid to bad as they are right now, I think they still have a shot to make the playoffs because the division isn't so hot.
Right.
Between them and the 49ers, probably the 49ers are a little bit of an edge now because they seem more complete. But, yeah, the Rams have a chance for a get-right game this week against the Panthers, who are reeling even more. So,
well, what does get right mean to you? But beyond just winning, because I believe they'll win the game, what do you need to see to let you know they're moving in the right direction?
I need to see like better performance from the offensive line, like first and foremost. So, like I think they have a chance there where the Panthers like pass rush maybe isn't as strong as some of these other teams that they've already faced. So kind of like getting their alignment together, like whether they need to shuffle like the positions, like where guys are playing, whether it's just like more reps and chemistry. I don't know. I don't know if they need to bring in someone. Like, I don't know how often that happens where you bring in an offensive lineman mid-season, but I think that's the major key right now because Stafford's not getting enough time to get the ball out. And the run game is not able to produce at all. Like Cam Akers, I think, had like 13 carries for like 30 yards.
Yep.
And Henderson similar. So, yeah, I think the offensive line is the biggest issue right now. Yeah.
Got it. There have been a lot of folks that clamoring for Odell to come back. Do you think that would do anything, or is the line so much of a hindrance that he wouldn't even be a factor still?
Yeah, I really don't think Odell helps if they don't fix the offensive line at this point. He's obviously still a talented player and maybe is able to get more separation than Allen Robinson is at this point. But if Stafford doesn't have enough time to get the ball out, it's not going to matter. So.
Yeah, I saw an interesting stat that said, surprisingly, while Kupp has scored a lot more in different ways, in regards to goal line targets, him and Robinson actually split in goal line targets.
Robinson has gotten targets in the red zone.
Yeah, so he hasn't capitalized a whole lot on it at all, I don't think.
No,
because
one touchdown for Robinson.
he struggles heavily in creating separation. So
Yeah.
in that regard, that could be where Odell might help. But there's so much that leads up to them even getting to that point that I don't think needs to be where he returns to. So definitely an interesting thing. And the last point that I've seen people start to say, and while there are many people that we all see that the line is the main issue, there are folks that are starting to say that Matt Stafford tricked us. You believe Matt Stafford tricked us, or that he can still get back to what we saw last year if he has some more protection?
I think Matt Stafford tricked a lot of people. I think, like me and you personally, I wouldn't say he tricked us, because I think the whole time we said it was a marginal upgrade from Goff, trading for him. I think it was maybe a little bit more of an upgrade than we initially thought, because it was pretty seamless. But I mean, they were a very stacked roster as well. So like, as long as both those guys, as long as Goff and Stafford have clean pockets, they're like pretty solid QBs. Like, they're B tier QBs. You give them a solid pocket. But we see now that, like, if all the pieces aren't set for him, like, he's not that Lamar Jackson that can just like completely backpack the team.
Right.
Like, he needs the pieces around him set in place for him to be successful. As we saw, like in Detroit, like they didn't have the pieces around him. He got the stats, but they didn't win shit for years. So,
I agree. I agree that he did not fully trick us, and that we need to just get their help to support him so he can get close to what we saw, and it's more of a unit thing as a whole that needs to get back rather than Stafford tricking us. To that point, though, we saw last year how much folks were saying F them picks and that let's just go all in, and they got the ring. And impact-wise, it didn't feel like much changed in LA with the Rams. Was going all in for that ring worth it?
I think so. I think to help establish themselves, like in the city of LA, like I think the Chargers are a far cry from even what the Rams are. Both teams struggle still, like as far as fanfare and getting butts in seats in SoFi, but still, I think that helped them like have more prominence in the city for sure. And I think it's worth it to go all in, even if you do have that championship hangover and have a down season like they're having, to have that ring. Like, they did win. And winning in the NFL is hard to do. And most teams don't ever like repeat. Like the Patriots did it like once or twice maybe.
Right.
But that's rare for teams that maintain that level of success like that. And it's still early in the season. We see glaring issues, but things can be corrected to an extent. So, I think it was worth it to go all in like they did last year. It was a little bit questionable, I guess, because you mentioned Odell earlier. There was like news about Odell today, because I think he tweeted out about how they like lowballed him on their offer for a contract after last season, where he really helped them get that ring. Like, he was prominent. He might have got the MVP of that Super Bowl if he stayed healthy. Right. So that was interesting to see, because I would have thought going along with their process of last year, they would have wanted to pay the veteran like they did last season. But I think it was worth it to go all in ultimately.
I mean, I agree. NFL wise, as you pointed out, it's hard to win just one. It's, again, as much as I hate it, it's impressive that guys like Tom Brady and others won as much as they did. So I definitely agree. I guess now looking forward, it's going to be tough now. We got our moment, and it was awesome to see it, and we celebrate that. But now that moment has passed a little bit, and it's like, okay, we gave all those picks away for that, and now we're living in the reality of not having the ability to properly retool going forward, and we got to figure out how to get this team back in contention in another way. So looking forward to see how they figure that out. That's going to be somewhat of a common question I'm going to ask. We have our NBA preview coming up soon also, and there's going to be a few teams that might be in the same boat for other reasons. So definitely going to keep that in mind as we go forward. But that was really it for the Rams. We won't stay on them too long. Going on to the other side of LA, the Chargers barely beat the Browns, beat them 30-28. And it's just a thing of, do you think that they will continue? Will they stay out of their own way? They won that game, and it was definitely commendable. But they have had the injury bug go through that team again, and they have to fight really to get W's. If you saw this last week, will they stay out their way enough to make a run this year, or are eventually all going to start catching up to them again?
Yeah, From this so far, the first 5 weeks, it's been more of the same with the Chargers than what we've seen in previous years. Like
Right.
most games, they were able to win that one, but the Browns were a kick away from winning that game.
Right.
And a bad call from Staley to go for it on 4th down instead of just kicking the field goal.
I think Keenan Allen even tweeted about it. He was like, "What are we doing?" Yeah. So
yeah,
they got real lucky with that.
And to that point, Keenan Allen, is he like nearing retirement? Like what's going on here? Because like he hasn't played since week 1. He played like half a game, and he's been questionable every week, and it's been like game time decision, and then he doesn't play. So I'm like.
Right.
Is it just a situation where like he can't really stay healthy anymore because he's had injury problems like throughout his career?
A few years now, yeah.
That's a little concerning. Mike Williams is good in his absence, but is also still that boomer bust kind of guy too.
Very much so.
Eckler's been really good the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So he's like the steady rocket, and of course Herbert. But like you said, the injury bug, the late game, close game. Losing close games, like it's been more of the same. I don't think, like you said, can they stay out of their own way? I don't really see it this year. We see the Chiefs are still dominant, and Pat Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. Yeah. So they can maybe scrape for like that 7 spot in the AFC to make the playoffs, but I don't see them going beyond first round exit.
With that being the case, because I agree, I'll keep my opinion short because I agree with what you said.
Okay.
Does that put Staley on the hot seat?
That's interesting. This is his 2nd year, right?
I believe so.
First year coach last year. And 2 years with a winning record, I don't think so. Because if they were able to make the playoffs, he would have to probably be at least like 9-8. So I don't think that would put him on the hot seat necessarily, especially if they make the playoffs, because they didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Right.
So that would be an accomplishment in itself if they're able to muster through and get that playoff spot. So I don't think he'd be on the hot seat immediately. I think if they got off to a slow start in year 3, then you would start having those concerns. Yeah.
Got it. I actually think even if they have a winning record, he still could be on the hot seat because I think the expectations are so high for this team that just barely getting in and going that way isn't going to be enough. For what this team is capable of. So I again, as you pointed out as well, I know injuries play a big part into it, and the Chargers are forever cursed with injuries every year, it seems, and already started off that way. So that definitely plays its part, but that can only be an excuse for so long, and I think they have to eventually figure it out and start putting wins on the board more concretely.
To your point about expectations, too, the defense was supposed to be like one of the best in the league, and they haven't been. Is that partially due to injury? Because I haven't paid attention to like if their defense has taken a lot of injury woes as well. But they're supposed to be like one of the best, if not the best in the league coming into the season.
Injury surely played its part. Also, sometimes
I've been hearing that like J.C. Jackson's been getting like beat.
I was gonna say that too. Guys that were once big names, we have to acknowledge are getting older in the league, are no longer, while they are a recognizable name, are not dominant anymore. And Khalil Mack, I don't believe has been dominant like that this year, like we all believed he would be. J.C. Jackson, as you pointed out, hasn't been. He's been okay, but he hasn't been holding down sides of the field as they may have hoped. Yeah. And then when that's a reality, and you have your middle of the field, that's kind of a struggle. You have people on the outside doing it, kind of trying to find their way. Derwin James in the middle can only do so much. So even if he's okay, if the other guys in front of him aren't doing well, defense as a whole is going to be kind of somewhat of a mess. So it's really a struggle on every level, it seems, with them right now. And they're doing what they can to.
The Chargers haven't even really played like juggernauts beyond KC, and that was a good game. Like they looked competitive in that, but it was another situation where it was like, if this is close, you know they're going to lose. So. It's like not a whole lot has changed this year from last year. And like you said, the expectations are why maybe it could put Staley in the hot seat. So I could see that too.
Yeah. I mean, in my eyes, he already is on the seat, to be honest with you. So even with wins and barely getting by and missed field goals to save your job, I guess. I think that can only last for so long. Eventually, they need some more. They need to take another step and be up in that tier that we thought they would be amongst the elites in the league. So, we'll see how they figure that out. But definitely tough times in LA right now. But I think they could be fixed.
Last question on that. Like, would you say that like maintaining a level of stability would probably help too, though? Like, if you fire another coach, then it's almost like you're like trying to start over again, kind of in a sense.
Stability is important if the coach is creating a sense of stability in the team.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they make the playoffs,
it's stable in the sense of you have the same coach for a couple of years, but not stable in the results. And when you have a coach that, yes, he may be there for years figuring things out, but he has continually shown that he kind of makes the wrong decisions, and we need him to make the most. And he has just woes across the board in regards to his roster and play calling, etc. I think that stability can only weigh so much to the management there. So I hear what you're saying in regards to wanting to create some kind of I guess like an Andy Reid Mahomes dynamic and let them build it up together. But I don't think Staley has shown really at all yet that he's Andy Reid in that equation. So he's got to show that first for that to be the case.
Okay.
So again, we shall see. Rough times in LA for the moment, but again, I think all these things can be figured out and turned in the right direction fairly soon. So looking forward to how that goes. Then lastly, on the individual breakdown of teams, as we have been doing, me being the Ravens fan, the Ravens barely got by the Bengals on Sunday night last week.
What they need to do, though. That's a good win.
They do what they need to do, which I was glad to see. I think there were like 2 minutes left in the fourth. We were driving down the field, I believe, and I was.
You didn't watch it. I was to watch.
I just didn't want to watch. I mean, I know how this is about to go. They're gonna make a bonehead play. To our point, kind of about Staley just now. They're gonna make a bonehead play. They're gonna kick a field goal or something when they shouldn't kick a field goal. Burrow's gonna get the ball, and Jamar Chase is gonna go down and catch a 90-yard bomb, and it's gonna be a wrap. So I was like, let me turn on Game of Thrones right now and not be disappointed. So. I admittedly, I guess y'all could pull my Ravens card for a moment. I just couldn't even allow myself to watch the ending of that game. But I was very glad to see when I tuned back in that they held on and got the job done. So what do you think of the Ravens holding on to that victory on Sunday night?
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I think I interrupted because you were talking about the last drive. I don't know if you wanted to talk about something specific from that.
I was just saying that they found a way to hold on to the victory there. Okay. That's all I was saying. So what do you think of them?
Yeah, I thought the game went kind of how we thought it was. It didn't get explosive like fireworks as far as the offense and deep bombs and that kind of shootout, but it was a very competitive game throughout. No one really took a stranglehold over the game. It was kind of like a boxing match in a sense.
Right.
I thought the defense was better, like because that's a team that has torched y'all in the last two meetings. Obviously, there were some injuries on that side of the ball last year, but to start off this year, the secondary has been torched by other teams, so it wasn't inconceivable that Jamar Chase might do the same again. Yeah.
Just a quick note on that. Yes, the team has been torched. It seemed like in this game, the answer to the issues was the scheme, and it seemed like they changed the scheme for this game in order to zone things up and more protect themselves from the big threats of Jamar and Teague on the outsides. Mm-hmm. So in doing so, that threat being somewhat neutralized or heavily neutralized, it seemed I don't think Jamar had that big of a game at all.
And
doing that,
and T. Higgins only played like 10 snaps too, so that plays a part of it as well.
Right. So,
but
with that being the case, the scheme. So again, that's been the biggest thing to me. Sorry to go so long, but coaching is really the biggest thing for this team. In regards to their success. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the defense was better like in this game. They definitely Jamar got his numbers, but like they didn't like explode on you guys like I thought they might potentially offensively. So it was a better showing from the Ravens defense. Wasn't the greatest showing from Lamar, which was unfortunate. I'm still on that MVP train for him.
Yeah.
And they got the job done, like I said, like they got the W, made the drive downfield to get Justin Tucker in field goal range, which is damn near the 50-yard line for Justin Tucker. But he did what he needed to do to get the win. So respect on that end, but there were a couple throws that were unfortunately like a bad interception and then a missed touchdown that could have really sealed the game. Yeah.
In regards to how in our notes when we shared for the episode getting ready for this, I put the Ravens won, but Lamar lost on Sunday night. And
Yeah.
really because of those few plays. People that have the narratives about him,
Exactly.
though folks that actually watch and understand and see all that really is going on can see that beyond 3 plays, his impact is clearly there. He clearly is essential to this team. He's MVP Lamar, as we said, and he's still on track to get his second one this year. When you're not making the throws and you have dumb plays where you have the interception as he did, it feeds into people's narratives that are going to clip that. They seem like he's a lot worse than he actually is. So, it sadly was somewhat, I guess, of a loss for him on Sunday. But for us that really understand what's going on, we know that he definitely did his thing.
Yeah, but encouraging win for the Ravens to get, and they will go on to be the 1 seed in this AFC North. So yeah. Good showing. Good showing.
I was trying to think of what else to go from there, but I think that's really it for the Ravens. I mean, there could be a little bit more breakdown we have in regards to. Oh, that's what I want to say. Actually, I brought up with me. I brought up earlier with them the coaching for the squad, and I saw something that was popped out to me in regards to the offense was that it was interesting seeing how much they utilized Devin Duvernay in the sense of I don't know why.
Bateman was out.
Well, no, I get that. But seeing the versatility that he has, that's always been there. I guess from this season, kick returns and all that. I've already pointed out in him zone segments and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
seeing that he has that versatility, I don't know why it took Bateman being out to now use him more. Like I don't know why you can't use both a whole lot in the offense.
I feel like they have though.
Somewhat.
He's had like 2 touchdown games and
he finds his way in the end zone. He's clearly number 2 in that offense. But in the sense of bringing him out of the backfield, doing a bunch of sweeps and all kinds of plays that really catered to him, that shouldn't stop because you now have your number 1 receiver back. You can have 2 good receivers. You can have Bateman on the outside doing his thing and finding his way, and also have the creativity of Duvernay swinging around and using him however you want to use him. I don't know why it just felt like I don't know why I watched it and felt like they're actually using Duvernay a whole lot more as I wished earlier going.
Well, they had to.
Again, yes, they had to, but it's like you can use him in that same way with Bateman there as well. Like it shouldn't stop because Bateman comes back. So that was all.
You're also going to want to target Bateman as well too.
And you still can. I'm not saying that there's no reason. There's no reason you shouldn't do both.
I'm saying I think it's a lot more out of necessity than like them not using him beforehand, because I think they were using him. It was just like a little bit more limited because you're also seeking to get other players involved.
And maybe that's where my
because I don't think Duvernay is
comes from. I have no
like that like.
I have no problem saying that. Maybe I'm up in second 300. My binoculars weren't working, so I didn't see everything. In that regard, maybe I missed them using Duvernay in that way earlier on in the season already. Just in the sense of how they put him damn near in every position. It seemed like in that offense. I feel like that could be done even with Bateman back in the fold as well. I just felt like there's a lot more. There's still a lot of room for this offense to expand, and it shouldn't expand once a guy is removed from it. Like you should be able to have both guys and have the same type of creativity with all your starters on the field. So I'm going to see if Bateman can get back this week and how the offense adjusts with him back in the fold. So that was just the other thing. I pointed out the defense already and how they adjusted. I hope they continue to find on the proper schemes for teams going forward. But definitely was just something that now I talked in the past, coming to the Ravens, you've seen 1 year it was just the health of the team. Then it was the receivers for the team. Now I feel like we have the pieces on each level that we have to have, even with the defense struggling as it may do. But now it's just more about the coaching, putting guys in the right positions to excel and get to the level that we believe they can. You have about 13-4. I believe they get to the same level, and it's going to require all hands on deck in order for them to get to that mark. So just excited to see how they get there. So yeah, that was the last thing in regards to that. Covering our individual teams with that. We can go on to the rest of week 5 things. So with that, let's jump into the hymn zone. Definitely a lot of fun things I saw this week. Al, you got your hymn of the week already lined up. Let's jump into that.
For sure. There's a lot of names left off here that are like, they're clear hymns. Like, we know what they do. They continue to do it. Like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes had monster days. Like we know they're him. Like I don't really need to say it again. Unless they break a record like Travis Kelce did, so I'll give him. But Geno Smith, I wanted to give him his credit because he's been balling.
Absolutely.
5 straight weeks, really. He had 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not crazy numbers, but a couple of the touchdown throws were insane. I don't know if you saw the highlights of them, but like
I'll get to it.
putting them into like doubled in triple coverage, like box on the line. They weren't like 10-yard pass and then Metcalf runs in 50 yards. Like, no, they were like bombs in the end zone. So, yeah, I want to give Geno his respect because he deserves it after how he's been playing. Like he said, a lot of people wrote him off and he didn't write back.
Right.
We completely wrote off the Seahawks, and they haven't been great winning-wise.
Yeah, they still lost that game.
They have performed like better than we expected. Like we thought Russ leaving was like, oh, like now they don't even have a quarterback anymore.
Yeah,
so
take for Bryce and all that kind of stuff. But Geno can hold the fort down at least for another year or two.
Absolutely. Travis Kelce, who I just mentioned, 4 touchdowns. That if you were playing against him in fantasy, like I was in my other league, you probably took an L.
I saw a TikTok. There was this guy that was up like 115 points.
Yeah.
But the other guy had Mahomes, Jacobs, and Kelce, and he lost. Lost by like 40. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'd be hot if I lost.
That hurts.
I believe. So, yeah, that was insane. I think it was like a record for the amount of touchdowns with the least amount of yards. I think he only had like 25 yards before touchdowns.
Nasty.
So Mahomes obviously loves him in the red zone. Breece Hall, I got on here. He finally had one of those breakout games.
Yeah.
97 yards rushing, 100 receiving, so 197 total all-purpose yards. That was great to see for the rookie. I think going forward.
To our fantasy point, if Michael Carter would get out the way, I might have won that game last week. God, stop giving me the ball. Jesus. He got 100, 200 yards, and every time he got down to the 1-yard line, they bring in Michael Carter to run the ball in. I was like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Hey, he got it all the way down to the 1-yard line, and then Michael Carter.
That's what I'm saying. My God, whatever.
Number 4 here, I got Gabe Davis. He only had like 3 catches, but 170 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Only 3 catches.
Yeah, the first one was like 98 yards for the game, and then the second one he like had to rip it away from the DB in the end zone, and so that was a nice little big chunk play there. And he's looking like he's healthy now, which is the key, I think, because he had a couple of down weeks, but healthy Gabe Davis is good for those at least one explosive play a game. So he's looking like him once again. And then this is a little bit different than usual. I got a kicker on here. I got Justin Tucker.
Oh yeah. Hey, no, he's one of those that deserves it though. So I understand.
Yeah. I think he's the GOAT. I don't really think it's a debate. I think he's the best kicker that's played in the NFL ever.
Yeah.
He's got a record 61 consecutive field goals in the fourth quarter in OT where he hasn't missed. That's pretty much all you can ask for from your kicker. You know, you get it in that 40-yard range, and he's hitting that 50-yarder like with ease.
He called himself a system kicker after the game. He was like, I just lined up and the game, he put the ball down, and I just do it. Yeah, but no, he definitely is one of one. So glad to have him. We've seen him so many times across the league. We just talked about with the Chargers, the Browns missed a kick that could have won them the game, and then we see it all the time across the league where kickers could ruin how games go. So that kicker that we could always fall back on definitely is something that I do not take for granted at all. And salute him for what he continues to do day in, day out. So salute to him for that.
The NFL going into the season ranked him like top 20 or something, and people were like mad about it. But I mean,
it's hard to just
probably the greatest ever at his position.
The most consistent player at his position in the game right now.
Yeah. And then, like I said, there were an honorable mention. The guys that you probably drafted a running back first in fantasy, like in your first round, all those guys pretty much went off this week. So like Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Eckler, all of them had 100+ yards rushing, and they all went off. So we know those guys can do it. And probably for MVP of the week, I didn't even select one, but just looking at it, I'd probably go Breece Hall just as the rookie having that breakout game and almost 200 yards total. I thought that was a huge moment for him and a trend that should probably continue for the Jets. So I'll go with Breece as the.
I like that pick. It definitely was good to see. It was somewhat unexpected because it was a shared backfield with them for start of the season, and there were high hopes for him, but we weren't sure if he was going to get to a level like that anytime soon. So definitely salute to him. But again, in the sense of dominance, Travis, you can't do anything with Travis Kelce. Like, you can't do anything with that man. Like they put him outside.
They know he's going to him too.
Right, and you know he's getting the ball, he still finds a way. They pointed out how part of how the Raiders were able to even stay in that game was because they at times had Travis Kelce low-key triple covered on one side of the field. Whenever he would go out wide on one side, they would have the corner on them. They had a linebacker creeped over to the shade onto his side, and the safety over top. They're like, you're not getting the ball. And the rest of the receivers tried to did their best, but it went as it did. And again, but they still found the victory. So yeah, in regards to dominance, I would have gave it to Gabe Davis because he did look great as well. But Kelce just looks like one of him. Like there's nothing else you can say. So I have to give my vote to him in that regard. So yeah, definitely a good week. Good week there. Now going to one of my things. I'm gonna go. I got the best pregame fits. I'm gonna start off with, and this is gonna be a fun one this week. You're gonna laugh at some of these because
as long as Tyler ain't on this list, I'm good with it. As long as Tyler ain't here, I'm good.
He actually his first pick. I liked. Y'all were clowning. Y'all were clowning, and respectfully, y'all called it the Megan Rapinoe suit. I like the bright green, the neon green suit. I couldn't figure out. They didn't post where exactly it was from, but I liked where it was. I liked how it looked on him. It was a nice fit. It may have been a little too bright for some folks, but it worked for me. And definitely appreciated his style going into the game there. So that definitely was a good one. Somewhat more of a real outfit. Saquon out in London had a real nice suit. He had a Celine varsity jacket, some nice flare trousers, and some Union LA Jordan 1s on that looked real nice. They went out and put on a great performance versus the Packers. Definitely was a good game. You got to salute him for that. Going into the game, looked great. Looking on the field, he looks great. Happy to have him back.
Top of the morning suit on.
The top of the morning suit on. Yeah, it was a good one. So that was cool. And I guess in regards, actually no, I'll wait. But the last one then was we had three guys on the Eagles. We have Grant, I think his name was Calcaterra, Dallas Goedert, and Jack Stoll. They walked in the game. I think that was Sunday night or whatever that was, and they had on matching floral sweatsuits. They were posing, doing all kinds of dumb stuff, shades on or whatever, lions and flowers and all this kind of weird.
Was there a reason why they did it all together? Or like?
I think they're all just homeboys and wanted to do some matching fun, dumb outfits, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it was funny, but it was cool that they were matching, whatever. And I definitely wanted to shout them out for putting that on this week. So yeah, those are my three guys. I'm actually, I guess, against the grain, give my best outfit to Kyler Murray. I like the neon green. When people hate, I think that I lean more into it. So I like that he went against what people may have appreciated and put on for this week. So yes, salute to Kyler for that. Now going back to you, not him of the week. You want to jump into that? Who were your most underwhelming guys on the field this last weekend?
Yeah, the weekly hater segment. It was kind of hard to pick guys for this because I feel like a lot of times it's not on like the receiver if like their quarterback's having bad performances and that kind of thing. Sure. Or the running back if the offensive line's not opening up holes for you. But there were a couple guys that showed out as stinkers.
I have a name already. I'm gonna see if you say it. Go ahead.
Okay. I got Russell Wilson on here again.
That's fine. not him. I was thinking of, but he's not him this week.
Him and Matt Ryan put up one of the stinkiest football games I've ever seen in my life on Thursday. That was truly putrid game to watch. No touchdowns were scored. I think Matt Ryan's game was a little bit better in comparison just because he led a couple of drives late that actually made the game a little bit interesting, and they actually mounted the comeback.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson looked terrible. And then to double down on that, he released a report saying that he had an injured shoulder after that. So that leak just even more put a sour taste in my mouth after that terrible game. So he's got to be on here again.
Everybody posted pictures of LeBron with the cast on after the finals. Yeah, it's like, come on, man, you can't fool us. So there's definitely some nasty stuff going on, and some agendas trying to be played and all that. But we won't be fooled, Russ. You're not gonna get by us.
Not at all.
Last thing with that, also. My there. Sorry, I thought I froze for a second. We good? Okay. Last thing with them. Stop putting the Broncos on primetime television. We don't want to see it.
I think they have like a Monday night game.
They play Monday night this week. That's the last we see of Russ on primetime television.
Who do they play?
Some show or something with Sierra down the line. Cut it out.
Do you know who they play on Monday?
They play the. Hold on, I have it somewhere. They play the Chargers.
Oh my god. I do not want to watch that. It's not a good game. It'll probably end up being a good game because it'll be like close, but like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. No.
Understood.
I feel like I was gonna say something else about Russ because he just pissed me off. Just the Broncos country, let's ride. He said it at the end of the press conference, and people had memes going of like Broncos country, let's ride, and then the ride was like JFK in his car.
Yeah. He tried to sneak it in too. That was the worst part. He was like Broncos country. Let's ride. Bro, you don't have to do this. You do not have to do this.
I wonder if it's like in his contract, like you gotta say it now, or
sometimes on shows like I think SNL or something like that, they'll give guys a card to say before in the middle of their press conferences. It's like I think the Broncos are like, hey, say this after every press conference, so we have it for a clip, and he just tried to force it in at the end. In the worst way. That was
the saddest one I've ever heard. Next up, another QB who people got high on real quick was Trevor Lawrence.
I gotta hold that L too. I have
not him yet for him. I think he has some of the tools to be him, but 2 straight games, a total of 7 turnovers and 2 touchdowns in those 2 games. It's not a good ratio. If anyone was wondering, 4 fumbles last game or the game before last, and then 2 picks in this last game, no touchdowns. It was an ugly game against, I believe, the Texans. So not even against good competition either. He's got to show us something, show us why he was drafted as that number 1 pick, because he had 2 to 3 good games and then 2 horrible games after that.
I gave him sleeper MVP pick, and he fell off the earth as soon as I did
that. He might have tricked you a little bit.
I got tricked heavy.
And then at 3, I got Allen Robinson. As you mentioned, I dropped him in fantasy. I was giving him a couple weeks. I gave him time, but I didn't give him the Amari Cooper treatment like you did.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had reasons, so it's different.
I gave him some time to show me something, but clearly Matthew Stafford doesn't like the blacks, and Allen Robinson doesn't like to get separation. So,
oh my God.
Welcome to Dumpsville, Allen Robinson. I don't know how Megatron was feasting in Detroit, because Matthew Stafford.
He got separation. He was a man amongst boys. That's how.
Yeah. I mean, generational for sure, but Matthew Stafford, he liked throwing to Skoranek is all I'm gonna say.
I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
Oh, I got
you. And then lastly on here, I got Juju Smith, and I had a question on here. Was Antonio Brown right about Juju?
I mean, the only time I've seen Juju, even in Kansas City, is doing TikTok still. So
I think he called him Boo Boo Smith-Schuster.
Oh my!
It was
God.
like his best year was when Antonio Brown was there, and he was the number 2, so he could kind of feast in the slot. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes is spreading the ball around, so no one on the receiving core beyond Travis Kelce is like feasting like that. So maybe it's a little bit of that in the scheme, but he hasn't really showed us anything in the past couple of years. So
yeah,
I got not him allegations on him right now.
People viewed him as a key acquisition. I mean, replacing Tyreek Hill.
I thought so. I thought he was going to be the clear wide receiver 1, but
he hasn't really done anything. So I definitely understand that. But glad that the Chiefs, I guess, he's getting wins over there with them instead of being in Pittsburgh struggling with that squad. So here's what it is. So that's a good group of those. Who was your number 1 pick for not him?
I want to say Russ just because he pissed me off so much, but probably Allen Robinson. He probably tricked me the most. You said Lawrence tricked you. He probably tricked me the most. He tricked a lot of people. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be a key acquisition for the Rams, but nothing. I think if you total all of his stats for the whole year, it'd be like one solid good game total for the 5. It's been bad. Yeah,
it's been bad. So it's definitely a tough start for him. Someone that had a decent game actually last game, but had a rough ending, and which is why I'm giving him my not him vote. Davante Adams. I'm actually giving him my not him of the week, and he had a decent game. He actually
who is him?
Good, but
you know who is him? The photographer that got knocked over and he's about to get his bag.
He's him. He's the him of the week right there. But yeah, Davante definitely had a tough end to that Chiefs game. Had a tough bobble of a catch that would have been a key conversion for them in that final drive. Then after that, ran into Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow hasn't had a good couple of games either himself. Ran into Hunter Renfrow and what would have been the game-winning throw, as I believe Davante would have been open had they got that to mesh properly.
Yeah.
And then being frustrated after the game, ran into the camera guy, and now is being charged. And now has done to the point where he's being charged with I guess a misdemeanor or something like that. They filed some kind of charge on him. And he's gonna have to give up some credit to old dude for shoving him down after that game. That tweet didn't work. I think that only added to the case. I hope you see this. Nope. I can't see nothing because you blinded me with that push. So sorry, bud. So excuse me. Yeah. Davante, for other reasons, is my not him of this week.
Thing is, he had a good game though.
He did, but hey, you can't. It was a tough ending.
He had like 2 touchdowns, 100-something yards. So
completely bombed the ending, sadly. So oh well. Yeah, that's definitely a good group. Definitely. Guys that we got to pay attention to going forward for that not him because they've got some heavy notice right now. Pride alert. So good stuff in that regard. Moving on in the him zone. Best plays of the week. You already kind of talked about one of the guys, Gabe Davis catching the 98-yard bomb. What was that? That was I don't know if that wasn't the first play, one of the first plays of the game. I forgot when it was, but whatever it was. Yeah, I think it was the first series. Yeah, they fell back there and he just dusted everybody and caught that pass very well. Could put his other catch that he got. That was for 60 yards, whatever that was, where he caught it in one hand and fought off. I forgot who that was on the Steelers, but made that incredible catch as well. We definitely wanted to point that out, and was a great one. Ironically, another great play I saw this week in the same kind of lane as just a receiver and quarterback making a great play. Derek Carr to Davante, and one of Davante's good plays. That catch he made that put them up late in the game when Carr dropped back from the opposite. I think they were on like the 45 or wherever it was looking around trying to find guys, and Davante broke free and caught that bomb to put them ahead again. That definitely was impressive. And that's kind of a common theme for these plays this week. They weren't the most creative plays, but they were plays that you just watched and were like, wow. Gabe Davis from 90-yard touchdown was one. Carr to Davante was one in the same lane, as you pointed out. Geno to Tyler Lockett through 3 defenders to recover it and down the middle of the other field, catching that bomb. It was a perfect throw. It was a perfect catch. All of that was just amazing to see. Love that they have kept things somewhat afloat in Seattle there. So definitely salute to them. And then kind of on the creative side, a couple more that I wanted to point out. I wanted to point out those catches because they need to be pointed out. On somewhat more of a creative side, Taysom Hill was in the backfield for the Saints on the opposite end. And why you guys shake your head at that, I understand it. But how they able to utilize a guy like that and were able to do direct dives for 60 yards, and they goes on the edge, and what was impressive. So wanted to point that out. And then lastly, the Giants in their victory versus the Packers had a triple reverse. They tried to do a Philly special, tried to swing it to Saquon, then swing it to Darius Slayton, then swing it to Bellinger, who threw it to Daniel Jones or whatever. Jones got covered up on the last part of that play, so Bellinger couldn't throw it. So he just ducked his head and scrambled for the last, I think it was 5 or so yards, and got in the end zone. So definitely was a impressive play that helped maintain momentum in order for that Giants squad to pull off the impressive victory versus the Packers in London last week. So definitely wanted to point all those out. And actually, I know I went kind of long. I'm actually going to point out one more, and it's on the flip side. The Packers had one as well. Rodgers threw one to Mercedes Lewis. They were in I formation, shifted the fullback over like they were getting ready to do a dive. Aaron Rodgers out from under center fakes a dive first. Watson swings around. He faked that to him as well on the fake reverse. And then Lewis on the backside from where Watson started on his reverse leaked out the opposite way, and there was nobody there. The defense was so confused by both of the fakes at first that he leaked out the other way. There was nobody there. Rodgers turns around and just tossed it to him as easy as you could. He caught it with ease and got in the end zone. So wasn't enough for them to get the victory in the end, as we saw, but definitely was an impressive play. This is a few this time around. There were some good that we mentioned across the board, but definitely a lot of good ones. And I guess in the spirit of it being designed to be a best trick type play, I will give it to Roger and Mercedes for the creativeness of that one. But yeah, definitely great stuff across the board there. And then lastly, for best celebrations, there weren't really a lot this week. Guys kind of kept it simple this week. They got in the end zone, get the prayer hands and got out of there. But there were 3 I wanted to point out. As I said, I like when guys do other guys' celebrations against them in games.
I forget who it was.
Michael Carter versus damn Michael Carter got in the end zone and versus the Dolphins and did the waddle versus them. And definitely wanted to point that out. That was a cool one. Another one I saw, Leonard Fournette had a nice run. And after that, at home, some guy, one of the fans in the front row, had a big Leonard Fournette fat head. And he grabbed a fat head from the guy. I was just walking around waving it, holding himself his picture around, and it was cool to see. And then the last one, in the surprising game that we both had picked the opposite way, the Patriots versus the Lions. One play, the Patriots stripped Jared Goff, and Kyle Duggar picked up the ball and ran in for a touchdown. Now his way in, he hit the Marshawn and dove and put the head up and jumped into the end zone. And that was cool to see as well. So wanted to point that out because that was a cool one. We'll see. Halloween time, Christmas time, guys start getting more creative again with celebrations. Yeah. So we'll see. Also, to point about Odell, he's always the best with those. Hopefully he's back on the field soon to give us more celebration dances and things. But yeah, that was it for this week. And salute to them for finding their way in. And doing their dance there. So good stuff in that regard. That's it for the Hymn Zone this week. We did our them segment in their rankings 2 weeks ago.
We'll do it after week 6. Right?
After this week, we'll revisit our rankings. It's going to shift a whole lot after just 3 weeks. That's why I like the 3-week adjustments. We have the Dolphins that won. We have the Raiders at the bottom of the league. We have a few teams that are high. The Jaguars were our damn near top 5. So a lot of teams are going to start moving around a whole lot. I'm excited to see how our rankings now adjust 6 weeks in to the season. So good stuff on the way. We'll revisit our Hymn VP segment at that time as well. But for today, that's it for the Hymn Zone. And we appreciate you guys for checking that out. So that's it in that regard. And then lastly, on the NFL side, as we always do, now we're here for week 6. And there's a whole lot of good games coming up. We have our quick picks. Before that, you have any comments about anything that you wanted to point out heading into this week, or you want to just jump straight into it?
No, let's get into it.
All right, so let's do it. We are here on the eve of week 6, surely a bunch of good games, and we're going to do our quick picks. First off, last week, I went 9-7, you went 12-4, so we're now both tied.
I didn't even realize that. I thought I got a bunch wrong. Dude.
No, I checked it twice, and you went 12-4. So
okay.
We're tied at 2-1 now on the season. But I guess we're the Colts or whatever in our rankings, whatever. But yeah, that definitely has been fun to start. But now let's do it. Week 6, quick picks. Thursday, Commanders at Bears. I saw it as they put it as PK, which I think is like pick 'em, like it's even spread. Like just take your pick on that one. Who you got?
Stinky game. I don't think it'll be worse than Broncos Colts though. I think there will be a touchdown scored at least.
I hope so.
Stinks. I'll go Bears. It is a pick 'em, but I'll go Bears. They had a chance to beat the Vikings last week.
They did,
and Justin Fields looked better throwing the ball. The Washington offensive line and then their defense has been struggling. And I could see Wentz throwing a couple like crucial interceptions. So
in Chicago on a short week, that should be the way it goes. But I'm gonna give Wentz one more chance. I picked them up a few times now and they've lost, but I'm gonna go with the Commanders one more time on Thursday night and believe they can find a way to get it done versus the Bears over there. Moving on, should be a real good one here. Ravens at Giants on Sunday. Ravens at 5.5.
Ravens.
I'm supposed to pick the Ravens.
And you will pick the Ravens.
And I will pick the Ravens. Yes, I'm picking the Ravens.
Yes.
But I do want to say that I respect this Giants squad, and this is going to be another good game that I'm excited to see. And I hope that they do as we hope that they are versus this squad. So, yeah, Ravens there.
Understood.
Jags at Colts. Colts at 2.5.
I think I might actually go Colts there. At Colts?
At Colts, yeah.
Yeah, they've had a week and a half. Yeah, I think they'll figure out some things. It kind of depends for me on Jonathan Taylor's health, if he plays or not. But, yeah, the Jags may have fooled us early on, kind of.
Yeah.
And the Colts defense actually has been solid. Like, they're the main reason they won that game against the Broncos. Stephon Gilmore was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll lean Colts. Wouldn't be surprised, but I'll lean Colts. Yeah.
I'll get Colts in that as well, and we'll see. Pats at Browns. Browns at 3 points.
Pats. I'll go Pats.
I want to take Browns in that. I did the same thing last week, and it backfired with the missed field goal, but I'm gonna take them at home again this time. Bengals at Saints. Bengals at just 1.5 points.
I'll go Bengals.
Bengals. Bucks at Steelers. Bucks at 8.5.
Bucks.
Yeah. Niners at Falcons. Niners at 5.5.
Niners. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm off the Kyle Pitts bandwagon officially. So I don't have that stress anymore. So I don't have to force any picks for them. I'm leaning Niners and believe that they get that done there. Jets at Packers. Packers at 7.5.
Good game, actually. We probably
Very
would have thought that going into the season.
Yeah.
I think the Packers need this, though. I'm going to go Packers.
Packers need this, but I'm rolling with the Zach Wilson show again. I'm rolling with Breece Hall and them. I think they can do what the Giants did last week and build up momentum to get it done. So, yeah, rolling with the Jets in that. Vikings at Dolphins. Vikings at 3.5. Dolphins have their third-string quarterback as starting this week.
Bridgewater for sure not playing?
Yeah, they already announced that the other guy is starting.
Yeah. I'm sorry, who are they playing? Dolphins and
Vikings at Dolphins.
Vikings are frauds to me. People have been very high on them. I just because of the injuries to the quarterback, I'll go Vikings. I think healthy Tua, I would go Dolphins, but
that really is it to me. I kind of agree with you there. I don't think they're fully frauds, but I think that if a healthy Tua was there, Dolphins would win this game pretty handily. So, oh well. But yeah, Vikings. Panthers at Rams. Rams at 10.5 points, even with their woes.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. My parents are actually going to this game, so hopefully they put on a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams here. The Panthers are reeling. We didn't talk about they just fired Matt Rule.
Right.
Baker got hurt, which may be a blessing.
It is.
So PJ Walker should be starting, I think, over Donald. But yeah, like I said, I think this can be a get right game of sorts for the Rams. This is an opponent they should beat. So the sirens might start going off if they do lose this game, but I'm gonna go with the Rams here.
Go Rams as well. Don't need a deep dive as much as you did, but it's as simple as that. Rams get it done. Cardinals at Seahawks. Cardinals at 3 points.
Cardinals, but I'm not a fan of the Cardinals, but Cardinals.
Neither am I. I'm going with Gino. Seahawks at home get it done. Bills at Chiefs. Bills at 3 points.
Bills at Chiefs.
Should be the primetime game.
Best game of the week. Best game of the week. Is this their only meeting in the regular season? Probably.
Potentially. I haven't checked. I'll check later.
Probably, because they're not division opponents.
Right.
That's a good one. Because I think, like, in the ultimate game, like, whenever their final meeting is, I got the Chiefs. But I could see the Bills winning this one. So I'll go Bills here. I got them going 13-4 too. So.
This is the fake Bills revenge game where they get the revenge after the postseason loss last year. In reality, when they play each other in the postseason this year, it might be the same thing. So yeah, they have their moment right now and get it done. So I'm going with Bills in that. And then what people are calling the actual game of the week: Cowboys at Eagles. Eagles at 6 points.
It's not so much the game of the week to me, just because I think the Eagles.
It's not, but people are saying that just because Cowboys have hype right now.
It's a division opponent. That defense is good for the Cowboys, so like they'll have to work for it. I was a little underwhelmed by the Eagles against the Cardinals last week. Yeah, but I'm gonna go Eagles here. I think they're one of the best teams in football right now. Yeah, not much else to say. Like Cooper Rush has done the job, but I don't think that's good enough. Going to be good enough against Hurts and their offense. So. Yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles.
Yeah, he's walking into a real doghouse in this one. It's gonna be a real fight for them. The defense has been great, but I think the Eagles offense can keep up with it. And yeah, having the home field advantage is gonna play its part as well. So rolling with the Eagles in that one should be a great one on Sunday night. Yep. You know, lastly, sadly, Broncos at Chargers. Chargers at 5 points.
Broncos country, let's ride. That's a nasty game, and I honestly think the Broncos can pull it off. This is another, like, they're coming off a week and a half as well too, so Russ could get that shoulder right if the shoulder's really hurt. But that defense is actually really good. That's been the one constant for the Broncos.
Correct.
And so I think they can give the Chargers some fits, while the Chargers do have a solid offense. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Broncos here.
Both these teams are going to be trying real hard to lose, but I think the Chargers at home find a way to win, and I think the Chargers get it done. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. So excited for that. Excited to see how it plays out. We low-key have a bunch of different picks. It wasn't intentional, but I have my picks laid out here, and you went opposite a few times. So we'll see how it plays out. Should be another fun week. I'm excited for all to come. I'm in week 6. So, again, another great week in the NFL. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to all of that for us. Again, show us love wherever you guys watch us. The NFL is rolling along, but now the NBA is getting started too. We'll be back shortly to talk about NBA, give our predictions and things as that gets ready to get underway. I'm excited for all of that. Again, thanks for all the love. Follow us online at Section.300. Follow us on Twitter at Section Sports. It's your boy G. Follow me at Just Say G. Follow Alec R. Foster on all platforms. And yeah, we'll see you guys again real shortly. Appreciate all the love, man. Peace.
Deuces.